All right, welcome back everybody to our second installment of Coffee on Campus with your head of schools, Ben Davis. I'm thrilled that you're tuning in today. Today I want to let you know that I'm enjoying a chai tea latte. And Stephanie, it's fantastic. It's really delicious.
I'm happy for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Very manly drink. I'm very proud of that. So, each month I'm going to share with you guys what I'm drinking just because why not? But Stephanie, I want to thank you for joining me. For those of you who don't know, I'm joined by Stephanie Yamato. She is our early education director. And Stephanie, I know you've shared with me that you've got the best job on campus. And that confuses me a little bit because a lot of your role has to do with changing diapers, which I change diapers for my kids. Not my favorite job. But I'm excited that you're here. Thanks for joining, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to do today, Stephanie, is share a little bit with our families about some things that we've had going on campus. One of the big ones that I'm really excited about is our two developments. We've had two donors that have partnered with us, and we are improving our computer lab on the high school campus. And right here close by with early education, we're actually going to be adding a fob, which is essentially a controlled gate security entrance for our elementary breezeway. And I've shared with our families, safety and security is my highest priority on campus. And so I'm just curious, as you're hearing about some of these projects, Stephanie, does it excite you to see these developments on campus? I know that your early education students one day are going to be in all of these programs and have a chance to enjoy those. Does that get you excited too to hear that?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, I think of all the things that we're doing within our department, and those are all wonderful things, but I love being a part of an admin team where we all come together and we get to celebrate with each other. And
That's right.
And I do know that my kids are going to be taken care of every single year, and not just, it's hard to see them go. I'm not going to lie. I love sending them to kindergarten, but it's rough. And so I'm thankful. I know in our department we keep every door locked, and there's just a sense of security that we have as educators, but also our parents love that. And so I'm thankful that we're going to have that now, especially with all our kindergarten and first grade and the young ones that still tend to like to roam. So I like that myself, and I think it's going to bring a lot of confidence to parents that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe. So.
Wonderful. And one of the things I haven't shared with you actually is that this project, the way we're designing it, it's cloud-based. It actually gives us the opportunity to scale specifically on campus, and one of our thoughts is in the future to be able to scale that and include this kind of fob security component in our early education campus.
Yes.
So I
didn't even know that.
I know.
That'll be amazing.
I love it. So I also want to share a little bit about what's happening now and what's coming up that parents can be excited about. Stephanie, we've talked a lot this year about staff care. Mm-hmm. We know caring for our staff is one of the ways that we care for our students, because our teachers have that frontline impact in the lives of our children, our early education students. It's interesting. Market research tells us that the number one thing that parents care about when choosing to enroll at VCS is having caring teachers. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we've done to retain our amazing staff that I've been really excited about, that you've been a part of, is to be able to provide competitive compensation for our staff. We've provided bonuses, raises, and our early education team has been a part of that, receiving those bonuses and raises. So I'm really curious, that recognition for our staff. Tell us a little bit, Stephanie, what does that mean? Why is that meaningful to our teachers? Help our parents to really kind of understand and appreciate that.
Wow. Well, on so many levels, it's important because, like you said, we have awesome staff, and we need to give them that opportunity to choose where they work from. And so we got to be competitive to what's out there. I will say that I am blessed to see, not just in our department, but everybody that I meet is called here to VCS, and they feel that servant's heart to serve our families here and to serve the Lord, and to give a distinctive, nurturing environment, a good, distinctive Christian education, and they're very, very passionate about that. But the truth is, if we don't give them a choice, if they can't pay their bills, then they're not going to have that choice. They're not going to be able to be here. So that's the bottom line. And of course, I think anytime we give a bonus or even a card of appreciation, anything like that, which our parents are wonderful at, by the way. They do that as well.
Absolutely.
But we need to do that as leaders, and if we don't, they're not going to understand the value and that we see in them. And I think it goes a long way. especially for morale and just how they feel, and it kind of fuels them. You know, they're on the front lines, and if we can bless them, we know if we take care of our staff, then they're going to take care of our families, and that's what it's about. That's why we're here.
It does.
So,
and one of the points you made too is, I think is really important from our family's perspective, Stephanie, is that our families have such a genuine appreciation for what our teachers do and for what your teachers do in the lives of their kids. And when they see us make decisions as a school to be able to show appreciation and gratitude, in this case through compensation, I think parents really recognize and appreciate that. So thanks for what you shared. I want to talk a little bit too. Some of our parents may not realize, but we're actually engaging in a conversation now, kind of overall as a school, about strategic planning. Now, I want to take a moment right here before our parents' eyes just completely glaze over when they hear the expression strategic planning. It's really important, and I know you and I have talked about this before, but strategic planning, when we actually set out intentionally to talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what we're going to do to improve, I think parents recognize that we're acting with intentionality, and I think that's really important. So there's two reasons, Stephanie, why I'm a firm believer that sharing these plans about strategic planning with our families is really crucial. If we know we want to be a school that develops students who are thinkers and innovators, and if we want that in our kids, we have to model that as a school. We've got to think and we've got to innovate. And second, no less important, is that our staff and our families, yourself, your department included, I think recognize that when we act with intentionality, we talk about strategic plans, that it shows that we're moving somewhere meaningful as a school, and it encourages, it inspires. I always like to say that we are a fantastic school. Early education is a fantastic program, and we just want to get better.
Yeah.
And so I think that's appreciated. And the final thing I want to talk through here, and I think you're going to appreciate this, Stephanie, and how this interacts with our early education program. By the way, thanks for being here and representing the EE department, EE families.
Yes.
I know they appreciate, I'm sure, having you here, so I appreciate that. So we're in the middle right now of continuous enrollment. And for those families who don't know, continuous enrollment is just that. When you enroll at VCS, you're continuously enrolled until you tell us otherwise. And so we're making every effort to make that process as easy as possible. And so I know that you're aware, Stephanie, but we actually are in the process of reducing high school tuition, a planned reduction for the second year in a row. And this coming year, middle school and high school tuition will be the exact same. And my heart behind that is I want VCS really to be set it and forget it. Once you choose VCS, you enroll in our early education program, that it's a no-brainer, that our families are just here through 12th grade. How does it feel to see some of your early education families or students who are previously in early education in our high school program? That's got to feel pretty nice, I think, to see that and experience that.
Yes, and I've only been here a couple of years with VCS, but the supervisors I get to work with have been here for over 20. And so it's nice to see. Sometimes they'll walk by, they're walking by the parking lot or something, and they'll recognize them from early ed, and it's just incredible. And of course,
they're not quite so little anymore, I imagine.
But not quite so little. But even the first graders, I can walk through the playground, and I see some that were here when I first started, and it's just. It's an incredible feeling, and it's a blessing because they're, I'm sure they liked our department better. No, I'm just kidding. But
I can understand why you would feel that way, Stephanie. That's good.
No, but in all seriousness, I love to see that they're continuing to just love school, and that's really important to me as an early educator. Of course, it's part of our job is to help them just enjoy it, teach them that school is fun. But also at the same time as they're being developed, to know that it's a safe place. Yes. It's somewhere that people really love you and care about you. And it's more than just academics, for us, not just in early ed, but all the way through at VCS. And that's part of it. It's just
Sure.
It's all the way through, you know, you could start with me. And I know that parents I interview them before they finish enrollment in EE, and I can tell you many families have intentions, like they do a lot of research. They really care about their kids and they want the best education for them. And so when they choose VCS, they have that long-term plan.
Choosing it for the long haul. Yeah.
And that's how they're thinking. And when they hear we have continuous enrollment and there's nothing they can do or have to do at the beginning of the year, there's so much relief. I was amazed to see how much
process.
Exactly. They're like, no new paperwork. I'm like, no, you're just we know that once you're coming here, you're making the decision to be here and your family. We're not gonna.
It's about that
You're not
partnership.
gonna slip out.
Yeah, and thank you for that encouraging feedback from our families too, Stephanie. And as I shared earlier, that caring aspect of who we are as a school, that's what's most important for our families, that we care for the spiritual lives of their kids, that we care for their emotional development in addition to their academic development, which is really, really important too. So that I know that's your heart, that's the heart of your program, your staff. So on behalf of our school, I just want to say thank you, Stephanie. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you for changing all those diapers.
Yes, I love that.
We appreciate it. So thanks for joining, Stephanie. And I've got another guest that's going to be joining here in just a moment. So thanks for joining, Stephanie, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, I want to welcome everybody back. I am joined by an illustrious guest, Donna Hagans. Thanks for joining today. Donna, in case you haven't had a chance to meet her, is our VCS Athletic Director. Donna, today we're going to talk a little bit about athletics, campus life in a COVID world. Now, I've been told that your job as the athletic director, you just get to play sports all day. How does that feel? It has to feel really good, right?
The minute that I knew I got to sort of wear sweats every day, I was like, that's the job for me.
There it is.
It's amazing, but there's a little bit more to it.
It's a little bit more than just playing sports.
Just a little bit more.
Okay.
Especially for my role.
Well, we are excited that you're here, and thanks for joining me today, Donna, sharing a little bit with our family. So I've got a really important question for you. In light of COVID, everything that's been going on, how are we being creative to provide really meaningful extracurricular activities for our students? Tell our families a little bit about what that looks like.
Well, right now the most important thing is that we get our kids together at such a pivotal time in their teenage years. They have enough going on as it is, but with COVID, to lose all the social aspects around them. Zoom just doesn't,
really
Zoom is just not social. It's nice to see people in those cute little boxes on your computer, but you feel entirely
Especially with
isolated.
athletics. It's just, obviously it's not the same, that physical involvement.
Yeah.
So what's that look like this year?
So we've really dove into strength and conditioning. We've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning. Matter of fact, I can't wait to see our kids compete because we're going to be like beast mode. I'm not even kidding you.
Strong, lean, endurance.
And
that's
just
awesome.
the focus that the coaches have been able to have on specific skill training, especially at our high school level. We've had very limited interaction with our middle school students, which we're hoping can change. We certainly focus primarily with our high school students initially as things are moving forward. So, but yeah, I mean, the coaches have enjoyed, they found the silver lining in the situation. So we're making the best of the situation.
So in other words, even in the midst of COVID, we've still found creative, innovative ways, is kind of what I'm hearing you say, to give kids those athletic experiences and train and prepare and the camaraderie. Just give us real briefly, what has that meant to our kids, their spiritual and emotional health? Has that been really important to them?
I have to believe it is, based on the data that we're seeing across our country with just the mental health side of things for these young people. There's been one too many unfortunate reactions and responses for young people to this isolation. So the fact that our student athletes have had the opportunity to physically be in a space together, be it masked and socially distanced, but they're moving. That physical activity in and of itself is going to elevate
Crucial.
everything their body needs to feel human and to feel alive and to have that social interaction.
And have you heard feedback from families, Donna, from kids, from parents on their appreciation that we've been able to continue sports? Has that been feedback you've received?
Absolutely. You know, we were talking this morning with myself and Coach Paulo, and we were talking about the fact that unfortunately, we've reached a point of doing strength and conditioning so long, it's like they've been baking lots of cakes and handing them out to everybody, and they're asking, can we have a bite? And everyone tells them no.
They're ready to compete.
Yeah, they're ready to
the next
compete,
level.
which we got to do yesterday for the first time. For the first event of the school year, our cross-country team had a race with Woodland Christian yesterday at Peña Adobe. It was wonderful.
Well, I want to say on behalf of our school, our student athletes, our families, thanks for what you've been doing to try to create that sense of normalcy, that support for our students, Donna. It's so appreciated. And I also want to mention too, of course, athletics is key, but our conservatory and fine arts, lots of life and activity there, you know, performances and activities led by Mr. Martin, who is absolutely amazing and appreciated by our families, has continued to move forward too. And so I've just been encouraged by all of that. So thanks for joining, Donna. I want to thank all of you who tuned in to Coffee on Campus today. I'm looking forward to our next installment, to seeing you guys next time. And I also want to encourage you, I recorded a podcast, the Mid-Year State of the School. It's got really great information about all sorts of things related to how we are, how we're doing, and what parents can look forward to in the future. So I'll include a link to that in the comments section of the video. And thanks again for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.